Hey guys, this is Miss Wilkerson. I have got a great book to read to you today, and I can't wait to see and hear your thoughts on how you enjoy this book as much as I will. Um, but before we get started, I wanted to ask you a couple of questions and put some thoughts in your head so that you have your own perspective. Now, your perspective means how you feel about something, okay? So, I got a couple of questions. How would you feel if you had to go to school every day? Right now, we only go to school Monday through Friday. That's Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday, and Friday. Saturday and Sundays, we get to stay home and sleep in our beds later if we want to and do whatever we want. How would you feel if you had to go to school on Saturdays and Sundays? Some of us might be excited because we get to see our friends every day. But I think sometimes it would be a little bit sad and not get to go outside and play as much or do whatever you wanted to do. But what do you think? Even if you had to go to school on holidays, what would you do if you had to go to school on Christmas and Thanksgiving? How would that make you feel? What about if you had to go during the whole summer break? How would you feel? Would you be excited? Let's see what's going to happen in this book and what they think. So I want you to keep your thoughts on how that would make you feel and see if we can compare those thoughts later. Um, so let's look at this picture of the cover of the book. It's called A Fine, Fine School by Sharon Creech, and pictures or illustrator by Harry Bliss. I'm looking at the cover and I see that she has got a huge book bag. Why do you think she needs such a big book bag? Maybe she just likes to have a lot of supplies. That might be. I like different pretty cool supplies for school too. But I see a toothbrush in this book bag. Do you usually bring your toothbrush to school? How about the dog reading? I've never seen a dog read, but why do you think a dog would be reading? Okay, so let's see if we can figure out some of this stuff. Keep those thoughts in your mind on how it made you feel when on the idea of going to school every day. So let's get started. They look like they're having some fun. Mr. Keene was a principal, and the principal is a boss who loved his school. Every morning he strolled down the hallway and saw children in their classes, and strolled means to walk. He saw them learning shapes, colors, numbers, and letters. He saw them reading and writing and drawing and painting. He saw them making dinosaurs and forts and pyramids. Oh, he would say, aren't these fine children? Aren't these fine teachers? Isn't this a fine, fine school? So, do you think fine means pretty or good? I agree. I think it means that he thinks it's a good school. Near Mr. Keene's school, Tilly lived with her parents and her brother and her dog, Beans, in a small house next to a big tree. On Mondays and Tuesdays and Wednesdays and Thursdays and Fridays, Tilly went off to school. At school, Tilly learned her shapes, colors, numbers, and letters. Sometimes when she saw Mr. Keene standing in the hallway, he would wave. Aren't these fine children? He said to himself. Aren't these fine teachers? Isn't this a fine, fine school? I'm seeing them having fun playing outside. On the weekends, Saturday and Sunday, Tilly climbed her favorite tree and took Beans on walks and threw him sticks. Let go now, Beans, the picture shows her throwing sticks. And she pushed her brother on a swing and tried to teach him how to skip. Be one with the skip, he thought to himself. But on Mondays, Tuesdays, Wednesdays, Thursdays, and Fridays, Tilly went off to school. Beans and her brother did not like to see her go. Hurry, hurry, hurry home, her brother would call. He liked her for her to be home and play with him outside, I think. The following month, Mr. Keene announced, This is such a fine, fine school. I love school. And if you announce something, that means you tell people about it. Let's have more school. From now on, let's have school on Sundays too. The teachers and the students did not want to go to school on Sundays, but no one knew how to tell Mr. King that. He was so proud of the children and the teachers of all the learning they were doing every day. And so that Sunday, Tilly went off to school but it was Sunday. What about skipping, her brother called? So let's stop for a minute and think. Why do you think no one wanted to tell Mr. King, their principal, that they didn't want to go to school on those extra days? Why do you think they didn't want to tell him? Maybe because they didn't want to hurt his feelings. Let's see. The following month, Mr. King called everyone together again and said, "This is such a fine, fine school. I love this school. Let's have more school. From now on, let's have school in the summer too. All summer long, every single day." "How much will we learn?" he said. "We can learn everything. We will learn about numbers and letters, colors and shapes, the Romans and the Egyptians, and even the Greeks. We will learn about dinosaurs and castles and everything. We will learn everything." Mr. King was so excited. You see them being so sad in these pictures. I don't think they're as excited as he is. The teachers and the students did not want to go to school on Saturdays and Sundays and holidays and all summer long, every single day. But no one knew how to tell Mr. King that. He was so proud of the children and the teachers and all the learning they were doing every day. And so on the first day of summer, Tilly set off to school. "But it's summer. What about summer?" her brother would call. They both kind of look sad. She doesn't want to go to school and he wants her to stay and play. Um, So, would you tell the principal that you didn't want to go to school during summer? Would you care if you hurt his feelings and made him sad? Um, what do you think the principal thought the teachers and students would like going to school so much? I think it's because he's seen how happy it made him to see everybody learning, so it would make them happy too. Let's find out. The dog sunbathing. And that day, Tilly went to see Mr. King. She stood in his office in front of his desk. "What a fine, fine school this is," Mr. King said. "What amazing things everyone is learning." "Yes," Tilly said, "we certainly are learning some amazing thing." And certainly means definitely or for sure. "A fine, fine school," Mr. King said. But Tilly said, "Not everyone is learning." "What?" Mr. King said. He looked very worried. Worried means he was concerned or upset and not sure about something. "What? Who isn't learning? Tell me. I will see that they learn." She looks a little bit scared to talk to him. "My dog Beans hasn't learned how to sit," Tilly said. "And he hasn't learned how to jump over the creek." "Oh," Mr. King said. "And my little brother hasn't learned how to swing or skip." "Oh," Mr. King said. "And she said. "But you go to school," Mr. King said. "To our fine, fine school." "True," Tilly said, "but I haven't learned how to climb very high in my tree, and I haven't learned how to sit in my tree for a whole hour." "Oh," Mr. King said. I think in this picture here, Mr. King's looking a little concerned. That means he's worried, he's thinking. Let's see what's going on. I don't know if he's going to be as excited about everybody going to school. That day, Mr. King walked up and down the halls looking at the children and the teachers. Up and down he walked, up and down, up and down. When you're looking at this picture here, do you see happy children learning? Or do you see children bustling around and looking kind of sad because they're having to tote books every time they turn? They don't look like they're having any fun. I think that made Mr. King feel sad. The next morning, Mr. King called everyone together. The children and the teachers were very worried. Mr. King said, "This is a fine, fine school with fine, fine children and fine, fine teachers. But not everyone is learning." The children and the teachers were very, very worried. Mr. King said, "There are dogs who need to learn how to sit and how to jump creeks." The kids kind of looked confused. What is he talking about? Look at this one right here. I think he's thinking, I don't understand what he's talking about. What did he mean, they thought? Was he going to make their dogs come to school? There are little brothers and sisters who need to learn how to swing and how to skip. What did he mean? Was he going to make their younger brothers and sisters come to school too? The children and the teachers were very, very worried. And you, all of you children and teachers, you need to learn how to climb a tree and sit in it for an hour, Mr. King said. She's trying to imagine her little brother trying to be at school. He couldn't even reach over the desk. The children and the teachers were very worried. And so from now on, we will not have school on Saturdays and Sundays or in the summer. Oh my goodness, everybody looks so happy. It says free at last. A huge, enormous, roaring cheer soared up the ceiling and floated out the window so that everyone in the town heard the fine, fine children and fine, fine teachers shout, fine, fine, fine. So if everybody, this enormous, which was loud and big, roaring soared, it means it echoed through the sky. And fine, fine children and the fine, fine teachers lifted Mr. King up, and they carried him down the hallway and out the doors and through the town and up and down and in and out. And everywhere they went, the people said, what a fine, fine school with such a fine, fine teachers and fine, fine children and a fine, fine principal. Everybody looks happy. So, okay, this is the end of the book. Thank you for watching with me. Let's see if I can rewind it just to the front page a minute. Okay, so I wanted to ask you a couple more questions. So you remember I told you to think about how you would feel if you went to school every day. Do you think you would feel the same that Tilly felt? I think eventually we all would. Even if we were maybe a little excited at the beginning to come back to school, we would eventually be sad that we never got to spend any time at home with our family and our friends and our pets. We could spend time with them. So do you think the students were relieved to be back to a normal school schedule? Me too. Do you think the students will learn as much as they did when they went all year? Maybe not the same things, but they still would learn a bunch of stuff that they still need to learn, because it's crucial. It's important for us to learn how to play. It's important for us to learn how to socialize with other people. Sometimes school doesn't teach everything like that. We read them books and all that, but it doesn't teach you how to do all the stuff that you just get to do at home, and how to teach your dog how to go potty outside. So there's some things that you can learn outside of school that's just as important as learning inside of school. Why do you think when Tilly told the principal that they weren't learning, that he realized it was a mistake? Like we said, it's just as important to learn things that you do outside of school. So why don't you give me a few things that you think you learn outside of school that has nothing to do with school, but is just as important? Something that I think I learned outside of school, when I went and didn't go to school, was how to use my manners at a dinner table. My mama taught me that. I knew not to smack my food when I ate, and to use a napkin and wipe my mouth. So those are all important things. I am so grateful that we were being awesome listeners during this book. I hope you enjoyed it just as much as I did, and I can't wait to read a new book to you. Bye.